Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Stupid games will win you stupid prizes. And that is the overarching message here as we dive into some of the updates, criminal investigation updates from the VA's Office of Inspector General. So always interesting to see how dumb people can be thinking that they're going to get away with stuff. So we're going to dive into this. Before we jump into it, though, I do want to throw on a special thank you to Carlos Dixon. Carlos Dixon, 2969, thank you so much for the super comment, super chat. I really do appreciate your support very much, brother. Thank you. All right, so jumping into this, the criminal investigation updates from the Department of Veterans Affairs, Office of the Inspector General, or OIG, and let's go ahead and jump into it. So November 20th, and this is going to be kind of moving back. So the earliest one we'll talk about is came out update on November 20th, and the last one here is on this update that I'm giving you will be November 14th. So it's just a good solid week worth of updates. All right, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. Every thumbs up, every minute watch really does help the channel, and I do appreciate that very much. All right, so criminal investigation updates. West Virginia man sentenced to prison for unlawfully receiving gratuities while salaried federal employee. So was a salaried federal employee and receiving gratuities for what? I don't know. Let's find out. So Timothy Crowder of Huntington, West Virginia, was sentenced to 5 months in prison and 3 years of supervised release and ordered to pay more than $24,000 in restitution for unlawful receipt of gratuities between September 20th, or not the 20th, September 2020 and July 2023. Crowder was a Veterans Service representative employed by VA when he assisted 13 veterans with preparing their claims for retroactive disability benefits. Crowder admitted that he received gratuities of approximately 10 to 20% of their awarded benefits from the veterans once their claims were approved. This case was investigated by the VA OIG. So probably, hey, look, I'll get you all set up, and you'll go ahead and get, whatever your award is, and some retroactive, and, you just kick me down like 10 or 20%, we'll call it a day. That's a stupid game to play, and look, I get it. Most of you watching this don't even work for the VA, right? We're veterans doing our thing. So if anybody accredited and works for the VA or is accredited by the VA working in any sort of capacity like that, that's asking you to kick them down, no, that's not right. They're supposed to be free entities, and that's why we always say, look, go find yourself a free accredited resource and go that route. That's what you need to do. Go do that. Go find the free resource and leverage that. Now, look, sadly, the United States is gigantic and not every area is the same. Some areas are great, a lot of resources, fantastic people doing great things for the veteran community. But then there's other areas where it's crickets. There's just nothing out there, or it's one person that, I do it every other Thursday and, I can help you with your claim. And maybe they don't have a lot of knowledge. Maybe it's just kind of the very basics. So that's why we created evidence-based VA claims. In the event that you can't find a capable and competent resource for free, then reach out to us and we're happy to help you. The information's in the description and in the comments. All right, next one. Alaska doctor and husband plead guilty to multi-million-dollar healthcare tax fraud scheme. Perfect. All right. This falls under Champ VA and other healthcare fraud. Dr. Clarabelle, I think it is, Dr. Clarabelle Tan and her husband, Daniel Tan, pleaded guilty to executing a $12.5 million healthcare fraud scheme and evading more than $4 million in taxes on the profits of a decades-long scheme. The Tans operated a rheumatology medical clinic in Anchorage and specialized in the treatment of autoimmune and musculoskeletal diseases. Beginning in 2009, Dr. Tan routinely underdosed patients, injected them with free samples or a different medication than prescribed, injected them with expired oh my goodness. When you think that, this is why I just try to mostly just stay away from all of that. Wow. These are those things that you think about, but you think, nah, maybe I'm just, that's just too far. No, it's right here. And this is one. It's kind of like rats, right? You see one, there's probably another like 100 somewhere, right? So, injected them with expired medication and or injected them with medications purchased by other patients. The Tans then knowingly billed insurance plans as if Dr. Tan had provided each patient with a full and proper injection. This case was investigated by the VA OIG, Defense Criminal Investigation Service, IRS, FBI, Defense Contract Audit Agency, Department of Labor and Employee Benefits Security Administration, Drug and Food Administration, and the State of Alaska Division of Insurance Investigation Unit. Fantastic. Wow. I wonder how, that even, how do you even start with that? I got the wrong injection. How do you even know, right? As a patient. Wow. I got underdosed. How do you really even know all of that? So this was some fantastic, because this seems like something that would just kind of, nobody knows, right? And these doctors, well, this doctor specifically, Dr. Tan, what a loser. This is just so sad. I mean, it blows me away. I'm still baffled that they're underdosing patients, injecting them with free samples or a different medication. Wow. Or medications that were purchased by others, expired medications. Wow. All right, next one. Florida man indicted for the theft of government funds. This was November 17th update, and it says Michael Dwayne Dyson of Tallahassee, Florida, was indicted for theft of government funds. This is one of 46 indictments issued by Central Florida during the government shutdown. Next one. Former VA employee charged with helping veterans fraudulently obtain disability benefits. Now, look, this isn't, this is always just a dagger, right? The doctors, that's just horrific. The doctors treating patients, like that is hugely concerning. This one's on the other side. This is on the benefit side of the house. And these are always daggers, and these daggers don't dissolve. They're reusable, if you will. And we don't need a bunch of daggers out there to be thrown around. So here we are, right? Former VA employee charged with helping veterans fraudulently obtain disability benefits. November 14th was the update, and it's Daniel Rickles of Chula Vista, California, was indicted by a federal grand jury on charges that he helped veterans fraudulently obtain disability benefits while he was a VA employee responsible for reviewing and approving disability claims. Between 2020 and June of 2025, Rickles knowingly and intentionally instructed veterans to provide false, exaggerated, and misleading claims of service-related injuries to support their disability claims. So is this guy reaching out to people? Maybe it's people he knows. I don't get that part. Usually the VA is not very much in, unless you file a higher level review or something. So it's weird that he's reaching out and doing this. So obviously he was probably getting paid. So maybe he was meeting people out on the streets of Chula Vista and going that route. Rickles also instructed veterans to alter documents submitted during the claims process. Through these false claims, veterans fraudulently obtained millions of dollars in VA disability payments and back pay. Rickles received millions of dollars in payments, from the veterans in return for his work on their behalf. The VA, OIG, and FBI investigated the case. Okay, so if he received millions of dollars, then we're talking about just a bunch of money in disability compensation. Now, Chula Vista, California, it is it's right there on the border with Mexico, and the California is basically tied as the largest veteran population state. So the idea is that there's a lot of folks, right? I'm wondering, was he reaching out to just veterans that crossed his desk, and he's just reaching out to them, hey, look, I work for the VA, I could help you out, kick me down. Stupid games, stupid prizes. This is horrific. Now, the one thing I will point out to the Daniel Gades, I guess, of the world, is that this isn't necessarily a veteran out trying to specifically dupe the system. This is a veteran who filed a claim and then was contacted by the VA employee who was greedy and then told, hey, look, I need you to supply this. I need you to supply that. I need this and this. And then we can go ahead and get your claim approved. And for some veterans, and not all, I'm sure some of them realize that, okay, this is fraud, but okay, let's move forward. And shame on them. But I'm pretty sure there's a few in there that were like, oh, okay, I don't know. I guess this is how the process works. Okay, thanks for telling me. I'll go get that and I'll supply that to you. So I can guarantee you that this Daniel Rickles guy didn't call up and say, hey, let's do some fraud here, or let's do some illegal things, but we can get this for you. He wasn't saying it that way. He was saying, hey, look, if we want to get your claim approved, I'm going to need these things from you. And now you're having a VA official, somebody who works for the VA, reaching out to you, telling you, hey, look, you need these things, and we'll go ahead and get this thing taken care of for you. I have a side business, and you can pay me there. I don't know. It starts to get a little bit wonky. To a point, everybody's at fault, but really the big finger goes to that VA employee. All right, that last one here. Michigan man to stand trial for allegedly defrauding pandemic-related loan programs. This update came out November 14th, and it is the last one that we'll do today. Roy Lee Holt of Harper Woods, Michigan, allegedly obtained more than $60,000 in COVID-19 relief funds and Paycheck Protection Program loans fraudulently to obtain 2 PPP loans in 2021. Holt submitted fraudulent bank statements and made other false representations regarding his business operations. He is further accused of submitting additional fraudulent misrepresentations to have those loans forgiven. Each PPP loan Holt received was for $20,832. He also received $19,880 in COVID emergency rental assistance funds after submitting falsified and altered documentation to Michigan State Housing Development Authority. The CERA, which is the COVID Emergency Rental Assistance Program, supported Michigan residents struggling with rent and utilities due to pandemic-related financial hardships. At this time, this fraud is alleged to have been committed. Holt was a VA employee. He was charged with 3 felony counts of false pretense in varying amounts, 2 felony counts of using a computer to commit a crime, and 1 felony count of making or permitting a false tax return. The VA, OIG, and Michigan State Housing Development Authority investigated this case. All right, with that, thanks for watching. I appreciate you very much. Have a great one, and remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.